Hi there, I'm Dr. LaQuita J, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about all things in between being and becoming a pharmacist. How you doing? You alright? I want to continue this series as of time as this being full transparent. Um, at the time of this recording, I do not know the name of the series, but I do know we are in a part series, okay? And I want to take you on a journey of how I am updating the Naplex Playbook. And in this playbook, this is a 40-day step-by-step guide to pass the Naplex Playbook. And if you have not watched the first video, go back and watch the first video, because in the first video, I tell you exactly what happened. Like what happened with how I was able to just say, hey, it took me 4 years to develop this book. And after I got in the right environment, and I went and like, okay, no more excuses, LaQuita. It's time to get the book. So go back and watch that. But into this week's video, I told you that I'm going to tell you how it started out as a planner, but then became a playbook. So, oh, and if you do not know, and you're new to my channel, you're new to me, I am Dr. LaQuita J. I am a Naplex Success Coach. I help pharmacists shift their mindset, strategize their plan, and study effectively for the Naplex exam. And I do this through my coaching program, the Naplex Play and Think Like a Pharmacist program, because I help pharmacists pass the Naplex in 6 months or less. Yes, 6 months or less. Okay? Now, with that being said, introductions out the way, let's dive into this, right? So, I had this vision of creating a planner because I didn't want to constantly, and during I was coaching, I was just constantly telling my clients over and over what to study. Know this, know that. I'll pay attention to this, I'll pay attention to that. And it's like, you know what, LaQuita, we gonna multiply ourselves. We gonna put this in a book. And honey, I put it in a book. And I was like, it's like a step-by-step guide. It's like a thing with Dr. LaQuita right here with you. So I did just that. I started it. And I was like, oh, let's get this book going. And I did it. So one of the things, I wanted to create like a daily system. It was start as a planner, like, you know, your top 3 goals. So every day I have your top 3 goals. You know what to study, and knowing what to study, I wanted to create that. Like, okay, we know what to study. There's no guessing by it. I wanted to include your top 3 goals. So, because most of the time my clients be like, oh my gosh, I'm falling behind this and that. It's like, all right, this is too much. And it was one of those things of just saying, if you focus on the top 3 goals that's in this playbook every single day, you're going to be okay. But if you want to do extra, that's your business. But if you focus on these top 3 goals every single day, your top 3 study goals every single day, you're going to be okay. So I want to create that. And I finished the book. Clients started getting it. Clients love it. They're like, oh, this is good. I needed this. I didn't know I needed this. And then I created a study guide that's built inside the playbook. And, oh, let me go back to my story because I'm moving too ahead. I never told you what I was going to tell you. I never told you how it went from planner to playbook, right? So this is what happened. I started writing. Like I said, I created out the planner sheets, like, you know, your top 3 study goals every single day. I got some more goodies in there, but I can't be telling y'all my goodies, okay? But I had a top 3 study goal in there. And then I said I wanted to create like the end of the week, like every time you read a chapter in your book, there's always like practice questions in the chapter. So I said each day I want to have at least 5 questions in the book. So it's a 40-day planner. And with the 40-day planner, you have 5 questions, like 5 practice questions, and they have the detailed answers in the back. And I was like, that's good. And that you just see, I just said 5 times 40. So y'all got 200 questions built in this playbook, okay? Hint, maybe 200, because I tell my clients, I am not predictable. So it's a little over. Let me say it's a little over 200 questions inside the playbook. But anywho, back to the story. All right. And it's one of those things of, I wanted to have my clients to be actively learning, like not this passively, because at the end of the day, you're gonna always go back and look at go back to the end of the chapter, look at the answers. And I wanted something that they can do that will hold them accountable of knowing this information. Like there's no more second guessing of what information you should be knowing, right? So I wanted to make that very, very clear with them. And I began to say, okay, so what are some things that I can do? Like, right? Like, what are some things I can do? And I started with saying, okay, let's do some worksheets. Let's get some active worksheets doing where with this chapter, what are some important information they need to know from this chapter, and how can we do that, and how can we put in this on worksheet and they can work through it. And I began creating these worksheets, and I started, after I'd done it, I was like, because some days have 1 to 2 worksheets, so hence you got at least the minimum. I didn't even say the least, I'm just saying at least you start off with 40. Cause I tell you every day got a worksheet, so it's at least 40. But I promise you, it's more than like every bit of 80 worksheets inside this book. And I kept looking, I was like, this not no planner. We can't call this a planner. This is not a planner. Because it was a planner when I just had those days. And I started adding those questions and those worksheets. I was like, oh no, this is like a workbook. And I was like, oh, should I call it a workbook? And I was like, playbook. Playbook. Planner meets workbook. Playbook. And I was like, oh yay, right? And birth the Naplex Playbook, your 40-day. And if you do that, you'll be like, Dr. LaQuita, why 40 days? Like, it don't take, because on the end of the day, success loves speed. It does not take all day and every day to take the exam. If you are ready, if you got in your mindset, you got the work ethic that you about to work, and come hell or high water, you for the pass the exam, you tired of making excuses, you tired of saying, oh, I gotta know this and know that, or you keep saying like, oh, I'm a slow learner. If you stop making excuses, it's for people who not ready, who not ready for excuses. It's not for people. It's not. If you got excuses, this is not the book for you. The Naplex Play Program is not for you. If you, like, in all honesty, you need a little bit more time. You can't move with speed. You can't say, okay, I'm about to study this chapter and I'm going to study to know, not study to halfway learn. Yeah, but I want a whole tangent. I'm sorry, but that's me. Okay. So it birthed playbook. I was like, this is a playbook. And I was like, okay. And I started thinking, because at first I was going to just offer it to the masses. And I was like, yeah, let's create this for the masses. And I was like, but let's create it for our clients. And let's just see how our clients like it, right? So I created for that and that thing. And so that's the story of how it became planner. How it became a playbook, from, because it started out as a planner, but it became a playbook. Now, if you did not know, this playbook has a study guide of the Naplex competencies inside. I was like, I wanted to break down line by line of competencies, saying, with this competency, I will focus on this. I will make sure I learn this, because it's a way we can break it down. I wanted to create a playbook, a study guide for that. And then, but I'm telling you, as soon as I got there, I was like, I just feel in my spirit that the Naplex, the competencies is going to change. And it did. It changed. It did change. And I'm going to link, I do have a video of me talking about the change in this, right? I have a video of me saying this. But in this process of me talk about the competencies, it's like the competencies change. And it mattered because the Naplex now, the exam, is going more clinical. And being the Naplex is going more clinical, I began to think like, okay, we gotta change stuff, because our study guide is more like, like line by line, like, okay, this line, I would know this, know that. It's like, but what's something clinical we can add to it? So I wanted to add that part, and it changed. And it also, because it's for my clients, with my clients, I have a review system called the score method. And in score method, I teach them how to constantly review the material. And I had this in the playbook. But if I'm honest, I think I'm going to take it out, because I feel like I may offer this to the masses, where you not can only get it in the program. I'm not sure yet. At the time of record, I'm not sure. I can't tell you it's here or not. All I can tell you is go on the website. Go on the website, LaQuitaJohnson.com, and that's LaQuita Johnson JOHNSON.com, and look at Naplex resources, and I can say that at the time it's recorded when you're watching, I don't know, but at the time right now in this video, I can't say, but it was one of those things. And if I'm honest, it's a shift too with the competencies, because the way the competencies have been restructured, pharmacology is not a standalone area anymore. Calculations is not a standalone area anymore. Compound is not a standalone area anymore. They have been combined to area 1. So I want to make sure, I know it's areas of domains, one of the 2 words. I can't think, but it's the same. I mean, technically the same word, but terminology wise. Don't shoot the message, okay? Anywho, with this, I wanted to make sure that I include like how that looks and the system format of it, because I realize with this format it's good, but I always tell people that I am a coach. I'm not a tutor, because a tutor is going to go in word by word and tell you, hey sweetheart, know this, or you say, Dr. LaQuita, I don't know this disease, they can't teach it to me. I don't mind fulfilling the gap, but it's a constant thing that you don't want to go in and just learn. You don't want to go in and review. I can't keep teaching the same thing over and over. That's the complete definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. So I can't necessarily do that, right? So I want in this new, I'm brainstorming ideas, and it's like I want to update some things. Of course, like the obvious things I have to update. There are guidelines, so I have to change some worksheets. What's the sterile compounding USP has changed, so I have to update that. Asthma has changed, even though I have like good stuff about it, but I want to include like the new guidelines so people can know, especially those who haven't studied in about a year and probably using, because some of my clients come, majority of my clients in my thing like a pharmacist program are clients who have previous attempts on the Naplex exam. And for those particular clients, I want to have like those things of making sure you're aware that the guidelines have changed. So I want to make sure, of course, you have to pivot with those disease knowing that those worksheets have to be changed. But also too, this is the moment I know I have to pivot, because I want to approach the disease states. I want to have the playbook structured like the Naplex competencies areas. It's time to pivot from that, because I was so hell bound on disease states and mastering that. But in the beginning pages of the playbook, like I have a whole system. I want to dedicate more to how we're going to approach this, because the exam is going more clinical, and resources you can use to help you think more critically and clinically. I want to include that, and I wanted to make sure that it's a moment where you have the opportunity to go over, like, not necessarily I can include all the things in there, but what I can do is add more of like the beginning stages before we hit the disease states, because I want to incorporate more things before we hit the disease states inside. So I wanted to do more of that, like still say like this is the plan. It's like the prep work before the disease state work, if that makes sense. So I want to get into more of this, and these are my ideas for it. And I'll be sharing with you like how I'm going to work through this, but I do know that. And my strategy, honestly, for updating this playbook is going to be the competencies. It's really going to be based, like, outlined through the competencies. Like, this is domain 1. I will focus on this. A domain 2. And let it flow. Where, how can you show you how that you can be Naplex ready in 40 days. And you keep saying, why 40 days, LaQuita? Because 1, success loves speed. 2, it doesn't take long to take this to practice study for this exam when you get serious. And I might do a video of what getting serious looks like. Okay. But I have seen my clients, the ones who are very serious, I have seen them take the exam and pass. And this is what I'm saying. Even like the clients in my Think Like a Pharmacist program. Think Like a Pharmacist program, yes, we do have like foundational things we'll go over for the first couple of months. But we transition over. Once those foundational things are quickly done, we trans over to the Naplex Play. And in the Naplex Playbook. And it's something where it all comes together and they finally it started to click. And I want to make sure that I create that type of system on a smaller scale but needed scale. So with navigating this change and why I'm updating it, this book, of course, because some guidelines have changed. Some worksheets need to be updated because of guidelines have changed. And also, it's because I want to create a format that coincides with the competencies areas. So without a doubt, we know, and the competencies areas I'm referring to is the NABP, the North American Board Association, or Board of Pharmacy, National Board of Pharmacy, basically, not BP Association, National Board of Pharmacy, and this is for the North American Naplex exam, North American Pharmacy License exam, the Naplex. And I wanted to include this, and honestly, too, it's just one of those things of the rules have changed, and when the rules change, we have to change too. You're either going to resist them, or you're going to revise, and we have to revise. And don't get me wrong, it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta recreate something, but it's okay. I welcome it, because one thing I learned is that, and one of the things I'm thinking about doing is taking out the score method, because I do feel like, when I host an event, people ask me, hey, is this a standalone product? Like, the Naplex Play is a standalone product. However, I created for my clients, and I have like a lot of good stuff that I would teach my clients. And just honestly, just being honest, I can't give you all my trade secrets and I can't give you all my trade secrets for pennies. It's a higher paywall for something like that. But for this to get you started, I'm okay with doing that. So I'm okay. I'm gonna take some things out. I'm not sure, and if you think I should keep the study guide in, let me know. I'm not sure of that, but I want to keep the study guide in and understand, like, hey, the score method, that's a trade secret. You have to learn that, and a trade secret of how we're moving over with that. So, with that being said, this is why I am updating, because it's just time. I'm updating the book because I want to go through more of a process. Because, just being honest, I always say I'm a coach. A coach looks at more things than just, oh, you want to learn a disease state and learn something. A coach goes above and beyond and hear the things you don't say, you don't think of. And with that, I want to make sure that worksheets are aligning with information you should know for the exam. The information from a coach perspective, not me tutoring you on something. Because a lot of times, you want to have that. Well, I have experienced clients, I'm going to say I have experienced clients who wants to constantly test on something. And they want me to test them, but not them testing themselves. And this playbook is really challenge you to test yourself. And I always tell my clients, if you cannot answer questions from this playbook, don't go to another test bank. Because this playbook is going to tell you whether you know something or not. And if you can't answer those questions, why are we even looking at anything else? because the rules have changed, and you have to revise, readjust, or resist and get left behind. But I'm excited about this new journey, and I think in the next series of this next video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to update. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Two things in the comments I want you to tell me. One, for next week's video. And I hope you get it. Like, this has got to be like, you got to watch the video quickly and respond so I can add it for next week, okay? I'm just saying. And it's going to be one, should I keep the study guide or not? 2, do you want what do you want me to see update on the screen? I'm gonna update it real time and show you the before and after of what this looks like on a worksheet. Do you want compounding? Because I think it's compounding USP. Let me look and see. I think I have it. That's why I have it bookmarked here, because I know I had something bookmarked. Look at me. I had it bookmarked. I don't know where it's at. Where is it? Yes, sterile compounding. Sterile compounding, not USP. I don't know why I say USP, Lord. Not USP. The sterile compounding 797. The CS, the CSP risk levels. Do you want me to update that, or create a worksheet for asthma? Let me know in the comments, okay? But until next time, remember that pharmacy is only if you are. Now go be great. I'll talk to you guys later.